Welcome to Nerds Against Normality, the podcast where we press new game, skip the tutorial, and immediately start throwing boss-level questions at our guests to find out if they're actually nerds. I'm Harry Bowles. I make more disgruntled noises than a Dreamcast loading up, but just blow my fan and I'm good to go. With me is my wife Stacey, very much the navvy of this podcast. She's constantly trying to keep me on track, and yes, occasionally shouting, "Hey, listen!" when she has something to say. And finally, our third co-host, Ben Sheridan. He can't be with us this week because he got caught playing video games past his bedtime and has been grounded by his mum. But as usual, he's left us a little note as to why he can't make it.
Hey guys, so sorry. I'm afraid I won't be able to make the podcast today because, as you can tell, I'm on a boat. You see, I'm on a ship. Ignore the rushing water. Sorry, it might be really loud in here, but I'm actually on a ship currently, having joined a navy. Yeah, I'm with a lot of other men. Let's just see what happens.
So stepping in this week, we are joined by Sean Antony, a man whose hobbies include voice acting, skateboarding, metal screaming, and pretending he's not behind on 20 years worth of video games. He's basically what happens when you feed caffeine and guilt into Final Cut Pro and hope for the best.
Hello, how's it going? That was such a good introduction. Thanks so much for having me as well.
Just to warn you all, that this podcast will contain a heavy amount of swearing, adult themes, and the occasional bullying of Ben, even though he's not here to defend himself. I'm all for it. As always, if you haven't already, you can catch us on all of the social medias. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, blah, 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 so you keep up to date with all of our latest releases. Okay, so Sean, would you like to just introduce yourself? Tell us what you're about.
Yes, yeah. So, I'm I call myself a full-time voiceover, part-time pilot because voiceover is my job. And I also have a YouTube channel. As you said, I've been trying to catch up on about 20 years worth of video games that I've managed to miss out on since becoming an adult. And I am a co-host of the podcast Shut Up and Answer the Question with Ethan Lawrence, who was also a guest on this show.
We're all a bit inbred. I've been a guest on yours.
That's it. We got to keep it all together, man. Just become this homogenous glob of podcasting.
Okay, so we'll start with movies, I think. So if you want to start us at number 3.
Awesome. Okay, my number 3 movie, again, is like, as I said earlier on, it's kind of like genres for me, that I just try and find my favorite films of genres instead of just the all-time one. And even though I do love all of the Marvel movies, and not all
of the Marvel movies.
I immediately picked myself up on that one, but I had to go with the one that started it off, really, Blade. I mean, 1998, I think I was 11 when I first saw it, but it was just one of those films that I was already into comics, and then after Blade, I became such a fan of Blade, and it was that early, what was it? Yeah, just before the millennium, so it was sort of like the edge factor as well, but it was just so badass for us watching it, and it was just, it was one of the first comic book films, but then the first R-rated comic book movie, I think.
Was you aware that it was Marvel before you watched it?
I remember my dad actually saying, "Oh, Blade, yeah, I've got those comics," because I'm a second generation nerd, so
I had no idea. I didn't realise at the age that it come out, I just assumed comics was for kids.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, I'm too cool for comics. God, I'm like 12. I'm so bloody hard. And but then obviously comics have massively dark themes, and Blade falls into that. And after you watch it, I mean, like you say, it's R-rated. Is it a 15 over here, or is it an 18? What is
it? Was an 18, I believe.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't think they'd have the balls to do it now.
Well, I think they probably would now, after the success of Deadpool, Wolverine. God damn it, that fucking film.
Coming back to Blade.
Oh, yes.
I've actually never seen it because I'm not a huge comic film lover. I only have to watch them because I'm married to Harry. So
contractually obliged.
So what is Blade about?
So Blade is, he's a comic book character. He is a vampire hunter, but he is half vampire. While his mum was pregnant with him, she was bitten by a vampire, and then when he was born, he had pretty much, it's the strength of a vampire, but he is a daywalker kind of thing. And he gets brought up by this guy Whistler in the film is Chris Christopherson, who is also a fantastic country singer. And basically gets taught how to hunt vampires for a living. And there's this vampire who is trying to bring, I'd say, the old god, like turn himself essentially into a vampire god. And basically Blade's trying to hunt him down and trying to find out who he is and how he's summoning this god to take over the world, really. So, your basic comic book film kind of dealio, really.
Kind of unusual to have vampires in a comic book universe, or like a Marvel universe, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, but it's basically in the comic book, in comic books, just after the golden era, the silver era, there was a big, concentration on making things again. It was like that video game thing in the early 90s, like comic book was satanic and stuff like that, so they had to then dumb down and change things like being Satan, vampires, werewolves, that sort of thing, and so they had characters that were skirting those lines, so you could see they were vampires but they technically weren't according to the comics. And that was when Blade came along.
What is it about Blade that you love so much?
I think it was just a nostalgia thing. It was one of the films, I think it was the very first film where I thought, that is my favourite ever film. I used to watch it weekly when I watched it, and it was one that sort of sparked that kind of, I like films. I got to a point not long after that, I asked for a DVD player in my room for a Christmas present, and I got a surround sound system as well. And so it was just like every night before going to sleep, I would watch a whole film. And yeah, Blade was kind of the start of that.
Also helps that Blade 2 is also sick, right?
Yeah. And I would argue Blade 3 is Blade Trinity was pretty good as well.
It has its place, isn't it? It's not as serious as the others.
Yeah. 1 and 2 were definitely sort of like, those Reapers as well, with the faces opening up and stuff like that. That was
just pure cinema gold.
They were really good.
You had a DVD player and a surround sound in your bedroom as a child?
Yes. Yeah, when I was in secondary school.
Did you leave the house?
No, I was a proper hermit. Like, I didn't I had my video games, I had the PC, I'm going to sound so old. But like in the 90s, you didn't have computers like in your room. Like you had the computer room kind of thing. Like
under the stairs normally.
Either under the stairs, or it was at the end of the table, the dining table in the kitchen that never got used, and it was always stacked up with, I don't know, like Empire catalogs and stuff like that. And it was just all like very local to me, and I was like, I don't need to go out. My schoolmates are about an hour's bus ride away, so I'm just going to enjoy myself,
You was not a day walker.
I was not a day walker. I mean, yeah, I'm a pasty boy. I'll go out at this time of the year and I'll just burn after about 5 minutes in the sun. So
okay, awesome. What was your number 2 pick, sir?
Number 2, I put it as an umbrella, but I would say Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, as the main one in that. But I do love that whole world.
Are you talking trilogy or all of them?
I like all 5, actually. I find that they've got their own place in the story kind of thing. And number 5, it does feel a bit forced, but it was really it had a good story for the character. I don't really want to put spoilers in, but it does have a good story for the characters as they're going through Barbossa and Captain Jack Sparrow and stuff like that.
Does everyone return for 5?
I think all of the original cast are in it somewhere in 5. I mean, because Elizabeth Swann does turn up. I think it's at the end. Again, as I said earlier on, I was working at the cinema when Pirates came out, and it was that first one that I'd sat through and watched the end of the credits as well, with the little monkey extras and stuff like that. And it was something that was so different at the time. And it was also the first UMD I had when I got my PSP.
Oh,
so
nice.
That was that. It was a game that it was a film that I just watched over and over and over again.
You know, you were saying about having the dodgy, icky graphics or the CGI in the early 2000s. I would say this is the film that probably breaks the mold.
Yes.
The skeletons.
Oh, definitely.
Were and still hold up today.
Yes.
Brilliant. And you go into is it number 2? that has Davy Jones
Yes.
where he's playing the piano?
Two.
It looks phenomenal. It's better than half the Marvel movies that come out now.
It's just absolutely outstanding. And I think it was so that they did have physical props in there as well to help with the transition to CGI. So it didn't feel like it was so much glued on. But the one that still gets me every time that I watch it is when they're having that sword fight within the moonlight, and they're just going in and out, and you can see them just cutting to normal to skeleton to normal to skeleton, and it is so cool. And like All Out at Sea as well is just really, like, it does feel big, like the whole world just seems huge because it is all out on the water, and they could be anywhere kind of thing.
Are you surprised with how much life they gave the film, considering this is based on a theme park ride?
Yes, very much. It's because that's probably why it's up there as well, because it is my favorite ride at Disney. Like, since I was little, it was just that cool little yo ho, I like pirates thing. But it's
that's what the man says as you go through the ticket.
That's it, yeah. And that's all they say when you're going around on the ride. Yo ho, yo ho. Oh, there's another one. Yo ho. Yeah, there's another one. I think they really did, like, because there was the rumor or the myth that they actually had proper skeletons in the ride in America because they were cheaper. So they had actual physical skeletons in the ride. So I think that was probably what's helped with the script or the story to begin with.
Or is that just made up?
I don't know if it is a truth or if it is just one of those myths that sort of...
You can't have real skeletons at a kid's ride, surely. That's not on, is it?
Seems like a health safety issue somewhere.
Yeah, the skeletons, as you were saying earlier on, it holds up so well today. Even like the bit under the water when they're all like, boys, take a walk, and then they're just sort of going down.
Good.
And then they sneak up, and then I might watch that this evening.
Before we move on to number one, how would you feel about the prospect of the sixth one coming out with him or without him? Which way would you want? I'm imagining you'd want with Johnny.
I think, I don't know, because at the end of fifth, he felt, I don't know if it was the performance or if it was just sort of the whole atmosphere of the film. He did seem a bit sort of like, okay, cool, I'm done. But at the same time, he still does, like, whenever he's going anywhere, he will take the Jack Sparrow costume and go and visit kids in character. So it obviously means so much to him. And I think it would be good for him maybe to take a back seat. And it feels like that's what they're going to do anyway, that he's going to be the one that passes on the torch, as it were. I think it was before all the stuff that it was going to be, what's her name? Was going to be in it instead. Barbie.
Oh, Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, I think, was going to be in it. That was rumours for a bit anyway.
I could see that. To be fair, she plays an awesome Harley Quinn. So
yeah. So, but it would be. I think that would be the one for him to just sort of pass it on. Hopefully, just finish it with 6. But if it does then turn out to do well, they might just do more with Margot or whatever it is. But I mean, if they're doing one more, they might put the effort and the love into it to just give it a good send off. But I'm just hoping, I suppose. It's like, hopefully it's not like the end of the Wolverine Origins, where they've just totally fucked the ending, and then you're just sort of like, and that's just ruined the whole series for me. Thanks for that. Yeah, I will never watch it again.
Well, hopefully you enjoy the next film a little bit more. What's your number one pick, sir? My
number one pick is, again, it's going to be number one, Back to the Future, but the whole trilogy of Back to the Future and even the stage show. I absolutely love the stage show as well.
What's the ranking?
The ranking?
1, 2, 3.
It's going to be 1, for me, 3. I thought 3 was just really cool because it was cowboys and stuff. And then 2. Even 2 is just, it's decent. And the ride was awesome as well. And like just jumping in and going into the future. And I think 2 is now just a little bit more scary as well, with the fact that they based Biff Tannen on Donald Trump.
And he's become quite important.
And then that shit actually happened. And you're like, it's
a bit too real.
Oh, that's a bit too much for me.
Would you say, in fact, that you think that Back to the Future is the greatest trilogy of all time?
Possibly, in my view, yeah.
Absolutely.
Better than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes, personally.
Yes.
Well, it's been awesome having you, Sean.
Sean, you can come on any time you like.
It's funny because the Lord of the Rings is my brother's favourite trilogy, and so it's that kind of we've had jokes about that in the past, and I do love Lord of the Rings. The trilogy is absolutely spectacular. Yeah, it's beautiful. But yeah, Back to the Future, I think it's that little bit of sci-fi. It's got the comedy in it as well, and it is just goofy, but also just it was really cool. And yeah, the DeLorean. And, oh, man, Huey Lewis and the News as well is just... I think it might have been just because I was shown it at a young age and I was like, yeah, man, this is cool. This is cool. I've just found, I've realised there's with my top 3, there's a solid nostalgia element with them.
Yeah, of course. Member berries are strong.
Absolutely.
Hi, Member.
Do you think that Back to the Future dealt with the whole time travel-ness well?
Yeah, I'd say it did. I think there's always going to be the element of plot holes and stuff like that whenever you're playing with time travel and stuff like that. But down to the point, right? They thought about it so much of like he crashed into like one of the spruces at the Two Pines shopping mall. And then later on, it becomes the One Pine, the Lone Pine shopping mall and stuff like that. And just the little bits that they put in along the way, that shows that they've thought about those little bits. And it's just really cool. And it was all very much physical. You had like the little post, like the little fire, the electric and stuff like that. But you didn't have too much. Well, you didn't have any CGI back then, or any.
No, they had to do it
posts like you would now, and it was really cool to see that and sitting down. And yeah, again, it's memories. It's my dad, it's my uncle talking about the films as they're going along and stuff like that.
They don't make them like this.
Yeah. And then because my dad loved the like Clint Eastwood, like the old spaghetti westerns and stuff like that. Back to the Future 3. It was just really cool getting into a different world with it. And I think that's probably why I probably put them that way, because 3 was just so vastly different to number 1. And yeah, got like the wake up juice, putting the flux capacitor on a train, like all the Jules Verne stuff as well. And then actually making the train look like it came from a Jules Verne book, like the whole steampunk and everything like that. And then he came back at the end with it all floating, and it's just cool.
You can tell Sean's a proper sci-fi nerd because he's talking about Jules Verne.
I was like, that sounds cool. And Back to the Future is Stacey's favourite trilogy. She loves it.
Hey, awesome.
Yes, good.
She knows her stuff.
Are you glad that it hasn't had a remake?
Yes.
Or if there was one, who would you pick as Marty McFly?
I don't think. Yeah, I'm very glad that I think they were talking about either a 4th or a reboot a few years ago, and that was one of the few times where I was like, just don't touch it, just leave it alone, because I don't think it would do it any justice.
But the director's come out and said, whilst he's still breathing, it won't happen.
Yeah.
So I can imagine literally the day after he dies, like it will be announced, Tom Holland is Marty McFly.
So I was going to say Tom Holland would be a good Marty McFly.
Yeah,
I think, but it would be really weird because, like, what are it? 30 years in the past would be 1985. So you'd be going in a DeLorean.
No, 95.
Oh, fuck off. No, really? Oh my God. Like at the end of Saving Private Ryan, when Matt Damon,
the old
that
man.
was just me just going, oh, mate, 95.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going back in time and you're like, oh man, yeah, I got a PlayStation. This graphics is amazing.
To the Spice Girls.
Oh gosh. You're
really glad you came on this now, aren't you?
Oh gosh, it still feels like 1980s like was 10 15 years ago to me, and then saying it was 30, I was like, yeah, that's a push. Nope, way off.
Okay, so your top 3 movie choices. I'm going to ask you, if you could ride in one, would you rather be in the DeLorean, the Black Pearl, or Blade's motorbike?
Oh dude, that's a hard one. I'll tell you what, I'm going to say the Black Pearl because I have ridden in a DeLorean.
What? Which era did you go back to?
No, it's a buddy of mine. He's he owns one, but he's a part of a DeLorean club. But I didn't ride in any of those. But it was at a convention. They do them all up, and they've got like the flux capacitor and everything in there. And actually, it was last year. The same dude that I met at that convention, he was at the a fireworks thing. And he was just like, "Oh yeah, do you want to sit in it?" kind of thing. And you're just,
yes, please.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, so cute.
It was so cool. Like just having all the lights going on, and then it does make the when you press it. It was just awesome.
So you're going with the Black Pearl?
Yes, yeah, that would be just. I'd love to actually be on a galleon. We've got some. I'm out by the water here, and you do see them going past like quite big barges. And just going on a big galleon like that, and they'd like having running up and down, and like, it'd just be really cool. I like pirates.
Okay, so going on to TV next, I reckon. So, what was your number 3 pick for TV?
So, my number 3 pick for TV is a series. I seem to have a lot of series, but it was on Netflix. It was just That Made Us. So they had the toys that made us, the films that made, or the movies that made us, I think it was. And then they had a separate one. It was called High Score. But it was basically that same sort of thing, like video games that made us. And it was basically going in, and they're like little 1-episode documentaries on each of these famous toys, films, games, whatever, and just diving into the history of them. And it was just really awesome. And one of them, I think the first one of season 1 was Back to the Future. And I think that's what sucked me into it. And it's just that when you've got that love and that nostalgia there for it, and then like you find out the story behind it and how it was almost didn't get made because shit was going wrong, or they had their funding cut, or like they changed the actor. Yeah.
It was going to be a fridge instead of a car.
Yeah,
that would have made a very different movie.
And then that would have been Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, I suppose.
Yeah, can survive a nuke, right?
It would have been great if it just opened up and he was just sort of indie soup just poured out.
Puddle, yeah. So confession, we have seen High Score, but we haven't seen the other two. We haven't seen the movies, and we haven't seen the toys. So what particular highlights you got for us? Obviously, Back to the Future reeled you in.
But yeah, Back to the Future was an absolute banger on that one. And I think it was the movies that made us had 2.5 series, I'd say. So they had one that was dedicated to Christmas films, which was, I don't think it was The Grinch, but it was definitely Elf, Nightmare Before Christmas, which that is probably number 4 on my films. Nightmare Before Christmas is just because it's seasonal that I was like, I can't put it in. And then what's it called, Home Alone as well. So those were really good. The second series of movies that made us were all horror. So it had like Alien.
I saw that Halloween.
Yep, Halloween as well. And I think it was Friday the 13th. Might have been.
Yeah, I think you're right. I had a little brief look.
Yeah. And then the toys, they're great because they had He-Man, Transformers, Power Rangers. Like it was even interesting to watch the Barbie and the My Little Pony ones, just because they were there when you were growing up. So it's just learning about the people and how the concept came around and stuff like that. And I do like you were joking about history earlier on. I do like the history of things because I find that if you understand where it came from, you can see where other stuff comes from as well.
I love all kind of nerd history. Sign me up. Real history. I don't want to educate myself.
Yeah, it's just too grim, and it's just like, that's just depressing, man. It's like, yeah, but we've got to understand it. Okay, I've learnt this history, so we don't repeat. They're fucking repeating it, man.
No one's learned any lessons.
Have you learned nothing from history? What's history, man? I was smoking.
What's the toy that made you then?
The toy that made me. Out of those ones, probably Power Rangers. Because I didn't have all of the Megazord and stuff like that, but I had all of the Power Rangers that had the flip heads and stuff like that. But yeah, I had 3 lots of toys that really, Hot Wheels. That was another one that was really good. But yeah, I had Hot Wheels, I had Power Rangers, and yeah, Power Rangers and Transformers, they always played together. And then, do you remember a cartoon called Bucky O'Hare?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had those toys as well. Like Bucky O'Hare with Dead-Eyed Duck and all those guys and the cartoons and stuff. Yeah, just action figures. They aren't dolls, they're action figures.
How epic was it though when you was a kid and you had the Megazord, and then I remember for Christmas I got the green Power Ranger one, and you could clip it into the Megazord to make the Megazord, and I mean, God forbid, don't touch it when you built it because it will fall apart.
Yes,
it looked impressive.
As a buddy of mine had the ones that like you had the individual Zords, and you could it was a transformer. So you had to put them together yourself and just sitting there for hours trying to work out how it worked and do it. It was those Transformers, they were more like the I don't know, the red sticker toy, I suppose. Like they were 3 toys in one kind of thing. You're like, yeah, you're getting your money's worth with that.
Do you like nostalgia so much because it's like remembering what it was like at the time, or is it almost like reliving your childhood? Or
that's a good question.
Is it because things are so different now?
I think it probably.
I can't imagine kids now being so into the Megazord.
Hey, any kid that gets their hands on that beauty is having a good time.
I think, it's because, my nephew, we've still got some of our old toys from when we were kids. So whenever he comes over, he goes over to my mum and dad's and we're there, we'll grab them out, and he likes playing with those as well. Because I think it's just a little bit of a tactile thing. But yeah, I think it is just going back and revisiting the fun. They say when you remember something, you're just remembering the last time you remembered it. And you're going back and you're just reliving those feelings and the memories and how different things were back then. It doesn't have to be better. It's just how you felt in that moment. And when you're a kid, the world is so much bigger. Everything is just so much more amazing because you've not had as I was saying about learning the history of stuff, you understand it. But when you don't understand it, there's a magic there as well, which just makes it feel a bit more alive before you've peeked behind the curtain. And yeah, I think it's just that nostalgia going back and going, it's fun now knowing how it's done. But before you look behind the curtain and you just saw it as a totally different thing, it's just a different world, I suppose.
So going on to your second series, what have you picked, sir?
I have chosen a bit of an antithesis of this one. Probably the opposite of nostalgia is Black Mirror. And it was one, again, it's a very interesting series that it peeks into the future, especially the early ones. They were so dark. And it is that sort of it wouldn't happen. And then the more it happens, you're like, oh, it's happening. And I know a lot of the fans, they don't like them as much. But the more recent series, there is a bit more of a positive spin on some of them. So it's not all just abysmal, destitute kind of sadness. There is a bit of there is something that's nice about it. And I think on the latest 2 series, they did something called Red Mirror as well, which they lean into the supernatural and the horror side of things. So it's kind of they're one-offs, but they were just trying to see if it would work as an alternate series of Black Mirror. You had Red Mirror, the video, what's it called? Is it Scream? When there's the bloody knife and you can see her reflection in it.
Yeah.
And I like to think of the more positive Black Mirror episodes as a similar kind of thing, where it's like the Green Mirror kind of thing, where it's not all bad, where something good can come out of technology. But some of the stuff that, it feels like it's a more grounded horror in some of them. And I'm a huge fan of horror.
The beauty of it is you don't have to watch it in any order.
No.
You could pick it up season 4, episode 3, and it wouldn't make a difference. So you could just recommend an episode.
Yes.
I think only up until the recent season has there been a sequel to an episode.
Yeah.
The USS, I cannot remember its name.
McAllister.
That's the one. That's the only one you need to watch, really. And I know there is an episode where it's a bit member berries, where they kind of skip over some of the earlier stuff.
Yeah.
But that's more Oh, that's in that episode. It's not essential.
Yeah.
Is it called The Museum or something like that?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Black Museum or Murder Museum or Mirror Museum or something like that. I think it had Black Mirror in the episode name, and I just can't remember how it went. But yeah, I mean, I watched all through them again recently, and yeah, that was good. But it did, as you say, it was like sort of shout outs, like Easter eggs, instead of just going, you have to understand these. And I kind of like that.
Well, what's the one that sticks in your head the most?
What's the one that made you have an existential crisis? Because there are a few where like we turned it off and I have to just sit for 20 minutes and let it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one that obviously like sticks out really strongly is obviously the first episode with the Prime Minister and the pig, just because that's one of those ones you're like, holy shit. And then immediately after, it was the one with the show where, yeah, like he was earning his credits, and then he did that big emotional speech at the end. And then it turned out that it was just, he then did it for like a YouTube channel kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that's a bit weird.
That's what we're striving to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one that really sticks is, if you've, did you watch White Christmas? I think it's called White Christmas. So he's in a house, and he's stuck in a house, and his wife has kind of blocked him. So in his memories, he can't see her and his child, and he tries to go out and see her. He can't see her because she's physically just fuzzy. And then it turns out that he's murdered them, and then he's actually technically in prison for that kind of thing, and he's just reliving it over and over and over again. And it was just that feels like a future that could happen, and that feels absolutely awful, like you just reliving what you did wrong over and over and over again. I might be misremembering that episode.
No, I remember that.
But that just feels like, yeah, it was just such a visceral kind of, that's
I'm fairly certain at the end, doesn't he go into like the kitchen with like two police officers, and that's when it kind of all unravels?
Yes, yeah, that's it.
The one that sticks with me is the social media one where you have a badge and you can like and dislike.
Oh, so yes. Basically a walking TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
And then she just takes that I think, isn't it called Nosedive, I think, when she's going maybe. to the wedding?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was...
And she starts losing and losing and losing the likes, and she becomes homeless, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Do you like the big name cameos they get in it, or do you feel like that detracts from some of the stories?
I don't know. I think they have a good mix. Especially like in this latest series, you had like Peter Capaldi in, I think that was kind of like a Bandersnatch sequel, but not like a prequel at the same. Like it was a weird one.
You don't have to watch Bandersnatch to get it.
Yeah.
But if you have seen it, you go, oh, he's a character from there.
Yeah, and again, like. He's the name, and you're like, oh, that's cool. But then the next one, you'll see characters that are with lesser known actors, which is kind of like they're not jammed so much in your face. It becomes more like a dressing instead of just sort of stuffing it as much as you can. Because I've watched all the other ones. I used to watch it, like every time I'd watch it, I'd go from season 1 all the way up to the latest series. So season 5 isn't as much in my mind as much as the others.
Okay, so moving on to your number 1 choice. What have you gone for, mate?
I have gone for The Bear. I think the reason why I love The Bear is, one, I love my food. It's especially more recently, it's become such a big part of helping me stay mindful and stuff like that as well. But just watching that and just seeing it like a real life thing play out, it's just so relatable. Like, obviously, I'll never be a chef, but they're proper real people, and they act like that and they react like a real person, and they've got familial problems and they've got professional problems like real people, and you just see how they're overcoming them, and you can see yourself and your family in the characters and their family.
Yeah, there's no like Disney magic wand, is there? It's not like he doesn't turn up at the restaurant, ta-da, and turn it around. Like that's what he thinks he's going to do, because he is a Michelin star. Well, he's one of the best in the country, isn't he? But his team is not. Yeah. And the kitchen he has walked into, are just, let's face it, just a bunch of fuckwits, aren't they? Like they're just there because it's like, woo, your brother used to run it and we had a great time, and you know, we should just get drunk all the time. But we still do a shift, but it's very much like we know what we are. We're a sandwich store, and we're never punching above that. And he's like, no, I've got bigger aspirations. And it's intentionally filmed to have like noise all the time, and it's meant to be in like tight spaces that you feel claustrophobic. And
that's exactly it. Like those high stress moments, you feel like it's a visceral, stressful moment to witness as well. And like you do feel like you're there with them. Like it's so up close, and the like the soundtrack as well. It is just so cool, but it's so chaotic at the same time. And then you like, as you're going through it, you see like Sid, she's stepping up to the plate, and Marcus, he's curious, but then he's starting to get good. He grows as well, and then he's just awesome. And then Tina, the chef, who then Sid says, "Oh no, like I think you can do well," and then she goes to culinary school, and then so you can feel the passion just become infectious, and everyone. And the episode where Richie then goes to the restaurant, and then and that's when like he totally turns around and stuff like that, and you just by the end of it you're like, I love you, Richie. And again, like when they then do the little bits like, it's your birthday, or you've been saving up all year for this, the meal's on us kind of thing, and just those little bits that it just sort of shows that he's like, oh, so you're proper caring for these people as well. And like, it's not just
cash in the till.
It's not just a meal. It's just, it is the whole experience, and like sharing your passion with the guests as well, the diners. And it's just, and the food just looks absolutely amazing. I will never be able to eat food that good, but it just being able to look at it and it just makes you happy.
Is it the character growth or the kind of real life stresses that they have that you like to watch?
I think it's a bit of both, really. I think, and that's probably why I love it so much, is that there is that realism there, that shit is thrown at them, but they will get over it. It may not be pretty, it may not be happy, but they will get there. They will work out what needs to be done. And as a team, as a group, they get.
You mentioned that you are a bit of a foodie, that this has kind of inspired your food journey. If we were coming over to your house for dinner, what would you make us?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean,
potato smiley faces, please.
I would be. I am quite partial at the moment to like Asian food or Mexican as well. Like, Mexican, Central American kind of food, so probably do some kind of fusion like that. And I do. I watch a lot of the food stuff on YouTube as well. So it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I do like a recipe because I have such a chaotic brain. So it's just like that is proven, and that is that. So I will follow that for guests. But for me, I will just go, right, what have we got in the fridge? Okay, I've got some Norwegian brown cheese. I've got some onions. I've got some pasta. Let's stick that. Oh, and maybe chorizo would work. The chorizo didn't work, but the rest was okay. Okay, so it's always just trying out. More often than not is bad, but just
still alive.
Yeah, it's just fine. Yeah, that's it. And you don't know you don't like it until you've tried it, really. So that's what I have to say to the kids as well. So
whilst you're eating your brown cheese pasta chorizo mixture.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you've got your 3 top TV choices. So between them, which is more likely to cause you to have a breakdown? Is it a 12-hour kitchen shift, a sentient dating app, or losing your childhood Lego collection?
Sentient dating app. I mean, just a normal dating app just stresses me out, because I found my now wife before there was any apps and stuff like that, like became big. So I've never been on a dating app, but I have a friend of mine who sends me stuff that, like, the messages she gets on dating apps, and then you see the horror stories on other things. And I'm like, oh God, that, just putting yourself out there like that, and then you have the feeling of how many times have they swiped left? Oh my god! Oh no, swipe right.
We're still on it. We're still looking for a third party. You know how it is.
Oh, you get Ben. You've got the cup chair in the corner.
He's quite hard to get hold of.
Or is it that small? Sorry, Ben. Sorry, it was just a joke that was lying there. I had to go for it, bud. I'm sorry, man.
We won't correct you.
No. He won't correct you either. So, I don't know how I'm going to segue that into games, but I'm going to give it a go.
Instead of playing with Dad with your hands, what about a controller in them?
Yeah, it's very good. I've got time for that. So, your top 3 games.
Number 3 is BioShock. Now, I've only played the first BioShock out of the 3 of them, because annoyingly, I've played BioShock 2 3 times, and each time, twice I got the red ring of death, and then the third time the game file corrupted on the PC. It's like it doesn't want me to play it, and it's all at the same time as well. Oh no, the third time it wasn't a corrupted save file. It was I got stuck in a death loop save file.
So you just load, die. Good old days of gaming.
Yes, when you're allowed to quick save anywhere, and you're like, shit, F5 is really bad for me.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved BioShock. It was the first time that, next to Halo, that it was a first-person shooter, but it did feel like a horror game, but there was some fantastic puzzles in there as well. And then just being in like underwater, and
Rapture's beautiful, isn't it?
It was just even the journey down there. I think that's what, like Half-Life, it was just, for years that was like my favorite game, and it still probably would be definitely up there at the moment, but it's just that start of BioShock, going down into the water, seeing it all, it felt very Half-Life, like that load up and find, like, exploring the world before you've even gone into the game. And then all of the enemies, I suppose, like the ones that were turned, like
just a bunch of crackheads, aren't they?
Yeah, essentially. And then it was like it's sort of like, what was it called? The dystopia that Ayn Rand had dreamt up, like in the 1930s. It's just sort of, if she had her way, if Atlas actually shrugged, that's what would actually happen. And it was such a visceral feeling again, playing it, going around. Like, it was more than just the jump scares. Like, there was that feeling of dread as you were going around. You didn't know when stuff...
Oh, if you saw a Big Daddy...
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Big Daddy, he'd bend you over and drill you to death.
I see.
And that's pretty much what would happen.
That was literally what would happen, because they were the protectors of what was called the Little Sisters, who had parasites. They were abducted, and then they had parasites of. It turned out to be like slugs that filled them with this stuff called Adam, which then you could change your genetic makeup with, and then so you had to then
magic experience points.
Exactly, and then you could either choose to either kill the little sister and get more magic genetic points or magic power points, or let them live, like keep them alive, but then you take less magic power points, and that's the route I did. And then that bit at the end as well, I won't say. But that whole time you're like, of course, it's
the big twist.
Like that whole time, the whole game, the pennies in the air. And
would you kindly?
Yes.
Would you kindly? And I'll leave it at that, because if you played it,
you'll know. But yeah, I'd love to play the others again. And I've heard Infinite I've heard both good and bad about Infinite, so I'd like to give that a shot myself.
Yeah, a bit of a Marmite.
Is BioShock like? Does it have a good story to it, or is it?
Yes, yeah. So basically, the story of BioShock is there's a man called Adam Ryan who basically he thought people were taking the piss up on the surface. So he was bringing people who were doctors, he was just bringing people down into Rapture, but they were earning the benefits, as he says, from the sweat of their own brow. It was just a whole sort of self-sufficient view. So everyone was together, but you earned what you had and you kept what you had. So it was very much sort of like everyone was looking out for themselves, but trying to keep everything they're trying to keep civilization going. And in doing so, yeah, they did make great leaps and bounds, but then people became like addicted to the power, as you do. And then it went tits up, really. And you go down there, and the only people living are these mutated people who have had so much of it. It is called Adam, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Adam.
They've just mutated their genetic makeup so much that they're barely even recognizable now. And they look like guests in a 1920s, I'd say, a ball or a party or something like that. But they've just got these messed up masks, and it's all like flat, like the lights are either flashing or they're off or it's breaking, and it's very sort of dirty.
It's borderline horror, isn't it?
It is. And when they come flying at you pap yourself.
Is it a pick up and play game, or is it something you have to sit down and dedicate your life to?
I think you could probably pick it up and play it like it's relatively simple on the controls. You could probably play an hour or something a week.
And it's not one of those games that you complete it and you immediately have to go into New Game Plus. Like, it very much wraps up the story.
And it's probably that kind of, it goes into that nostalgia, how games before games had the internet. If that, like, even though this was out, I think BioShock 2 definitely had multiplayer capabilities, but it didn't rely so hard on the internet to be there to do everything in the game.
But yeah, okay, so we'll move on to your number 2.
Yes.
What have we got at number 2?
Pirate theme again, Sea of Thieves.
For the Xbox or the PlayStation?
Well,
because one has been out considerably longer.
So yeah, I started playing it on the Xbox during lockdown, actually, with a friend of mine. That was the best thing about having video games in lockdown, is that you could still be sociable. I mean, I'm not a sociable person, but I'd happily, I don't really like playing massively online games, and Sea of Thieves is probably the limit for me because I can run away from other people that aren't my friends. But we started in 2020, and by then it had already been out like 3 years, but they just started doing additional bits and adding seasons and stuff like that, so you're watching the game grow as you're playing it, which has been absolutely fantastic. But it is such a beautiful game. You're on the boat, and if nobody's chasing you, you're looking out, and the water is kind of realistic, but everything else is slightly cel shady. But then you can see the sky with all the islands on the corner, like on the horizon, and then it goes into night, and then you can see the aurora borealis and stuff like that, and it's just such an amazing experience to be in. And like, some people, that's what they'd like to do. They'll just sit there, experience the atmosphere in game, and they'll just sit and fish, and you can do that for hours, and it is just so relaxing. But on the other side, you can just blow shit up. You can look for gold. You can then solve puzzles and kill ghosts to get power-ups and other things like that. And it's just, and there is kind of a story in there as well as you're going along. And then, yeah, they did have a tie-in DLC, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Monkey Island as well, which was absolutely amazing. But we played it every week up until last November, I think it was. We were just constantly in it all the time because it was just such a great escape, really. Confession,
I've never played this game, so I did a little bit of research, and you brought up how the sea looks, and Rare kind of use this. Rare's the guys who make the game. They literally put it out there as a statement being like, this is the best looking sea. And the fact that you brought it up, I'm inclined to believe it. And they also, this didn't launch to positive reviews because it was quite small.
Yes.
But as the game kind of grew and grew and grew, it's had over 40 million Xbox users on them online in total, which is insane.
And I think, yeah, it is a great example of video gamers art. And it is a very fun one. But even down to there's a lack of a heads-up display. You've got your orbital that you can bring up, but most of the time there is nothing there. You've got how much, you've got a little circle with how much health you've got, and then you've got 5 shots of your ammo, nothing else. And then all the other stuff is through sound prompts. So if you catch like when you're moving the sails, if you catch it right, it will then just go do-do-do. Like it's something simple like that, but then it moves, but then you see the wind. You can just see the wind as wispy lines. Or if you're trying to get into the center of the wheel, it will it will just go clonk, and it is just they're very satisfying sounds. And then if a megalodon comes up,
what?
You've got one kind of. You get megalodons. There's a kraken. Oh, the kraken! The sea turns black, and then all the wind dies completely, and then you've just got these 6-7 story tentacles just fly out of the sea, and then you've got to hit them with your cannon, while at the same time trying to fix your boat so you don't sink. But then the tentacles can pick you up and then pull you off your ship and then drop you in the water, so you then have to float back, to try and swim back, all while trying to sort of not let yourself sink.
Is this you living your best parts of the Caribbean Adventure?
Oh yes, it is. Yeah, if they did Sea of Thieves VR, there is an attempted port of it which is very fun. It's called Sail, but Sea of Thieves it's just peak.
I read you can board people's ships by firing yourself out of a cannon.
Yes, and you can also have pets, and you can fire your pets out of a cannon.
I'm all for that.
They don't die. They're they'll just sort of go. I think that was just a funny thing. I don't think there's anything necessary. But over the map as well, there's massive rocks, and some of them have a throne on top. And that's the idea. You've got to try and get into the cannon, fire yourself onto the chair, and that's when you get an achievement.
Is this game made better by it being an online game, or would you be equally as happy playing it on your own?
I like it being an online game because there is an element of risk. I'm not one to go out and find battles. I don't enjoy that. Because other people are there. There's so much that you can do in the game. It is a proper treasure hunt. Some of them, you'd have to go to different islands to find different parts of a map to then find the final piece of the map that then opens up a big vault that you can get stuff from, or you can go and battle a fleet of ships, or if you wanted, you can go to different islands, buy the stuff from the merchants and take them there and be in the navy, the merchant navy essentially. And there's just so much in that, and I feel like if I'm then setting on other people who is trying to enjoy the same world, it just feels like it's unfair. But there are people who like to do that, and more power to them, and that's kind of fun, because then the Reapers, if that's how you want to play it, they're on the map. They're marked on the map always. But you can't just hit tab, say, and see the map there. You have to go down to the map deck and find out where you are floated, where you're sailing to, if there's any Reapers in the area, that kind of stuff. So it just makes it feel like there's more purpose on things. And just having that there, it just sort of has that little risk in the back of your mind, right, we've got to get in, we've got to get this done, and we've got to get back on the boat as soon as possible, because there might be people coming up behind us.
So, going on to your best game of all time, what is your favourite game? Or games, should I say?
Games, because I will see them as one game.
Correct.
Just Portal. The Portal game, Portal 1, Portal and Portal 2. Just because I'm pretty sure that they released Portal as a proof of concept, like a showcase game.
Yeah, it was like a tech demo.
Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. I'm a huge fan of puzzles, thinking outside of the box to solve the problems. And then with Portal 2, you've got more of the story of GLaDOS and Aperture and even Wheatley. I mean, Stephen Bloody Merchant as Wheatley is just inspired. It's just,
great
you'd never
casting.
think of him. You'd never think of him as being an antagonist in any way, and yet he's there, and it's perfect.
And J.K. Simmons?
Yeah, J.K. Simmons as Cave Johnson, and he's just perfect in that kind of, what was it, 1960s like boss man who does everything, and he's like, "Yeah, we're just gonna do it anyway," and you're like, "Oh, this so cool."
I love this choice because great games. But one criticism: fuck Valve because they never make a third game. Like, the world is begging for a Portal 3, right?
And I think that's probably it's going to turn out like Half-Life Alyx would have been something for Half-Life 3. I think at this point as well, it's just been so long since Half-Life 2, Portal 2, and the fan base is just so rabid that anything they could make the perfect.
I would get Chris.
Technically, the perfect, and it would just be christened. Like, it would just be absolutely bombed because it's not what they'd want it to be, which is a shame, really. I think it's those, what do you call them? They're hardcore. You're not hardcore. Like, if you're that hardcore into a fan base that you can tear shit down, then you're not a fan. You're just a critic who has more experience of that game over everything else.
In Portal 2, I think, didn't they have like a whole new game for like 2 players as well? Did you ever play it with your wife?
My wife isn't a gamer, unfortunately, and so we play Mario and stuff like that. But yeah, she's not a huge fan of video games. So that's normally me or my buddies. And when it first came out, I played the co-op game with a friend of mine, and that was really good. It was more of Portal 1, but it was definitely a step up in difficulty.
So I looked this up. I'm not going to act like I knew this as a fact. But the original Portal was based on a student project. I'm hoping I pronounced this right. It was called Narbacular Drop.
Yes, yeah. It was kind of like instead of like the circle ones, it was like a fantasy game. So you had portals that were like a wizard portal. It was like bone kind of door frame kind of looking thing.
Okay.
But it was similar in the mechanics there.
But Valve was so impressed that they literally recruited the team.
Yeah.
They were like, make us a game, please.
How awesome would that be? It's like,
God.
oh yeah, we've made this for fun. It's like, yeah, do you want to do this for a living with Valve? Yeah.
Yeah. Only for 2 games though, obviously.
And it's like, okay, what do we do now? I don't know.
Like momentum game as well at times, isn't it?
It's just the physics in it were just absolutely unreal. To be able to play with that kind of like speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out kind of jobby, and it's just, I want to play that now as well.
I mean, let's face it, right? At its core, it's just a little game that has puzzles with portals. It had no right to have such a good story.
Yeah.
It had no right to be as interesting or as fun.
Yeah.
Like, we were gutted when we completed it.
And well, even with one, as you said, like it being like a bit of a tech demo or a showcase, it had like you could have solved the each of the rooms, and that would have been fun on its own. But having that little thing there where you're escaping GLaDOS, and then she's even going, "Oh, I was meant to say, here is the party. You've got to come out," like having that little sarcastic like artificial intelligence. And yeah.
Of all 3 of your game choices, which would make the best reality show?
Oh, dude, that's a good one. I'd watch all of those. Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves would be fantastic because the amount of people who've just never been who just pick it up from nothing and then just learn as they go. That would be awesome to see. Just like people who have never sailed before. They can swim. But then just go, here's the sea, do what you like. Okay. Do what you want. Are you doing it on your own? With 2 people, 3 people, or 4?
Mum?
Here's your maiden voyage. This is your tutorial. Have fun.
Now get in this cannon for no reason.
So I've already put the dog in there. Yeah.
Oh, you can swim down like 200 meters if you want and solve a puzzle down there. What? Give it a try.
I guess on that note, I'll bust out the outro, sir.
We need a recommendation.
Oh no!
Every
time I always forget. If it's not in the notes, I'm not saying it. I'm like Ron Burgundy. You know, it's like he will read anything on the auto.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
We'll put a question mark on it. That's literally me. If it's not there, I'm not saying it. Yes, you give us a film recommendation.
Are you going to be really nice or a bit mean?
I'm I don't know. You seem to like anime, so I think you'll like this one. It's called K-pop Demon Hunters that I watched with my kids last week, and it was just amazing. Like the songs are fantastic. It's from Sony Animation, so the same guys that did. Have you watched Mitchell's versus the Machines?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mitchell's versus the Machines, Into the Spider-Verse, and is it Across the Spider-Verse is the third one. The first one as well. Yeah, the first two Spider-Man films as well, the Spider-Verse films as well. So it's that very kind of manic, but
is it that sexy animation though?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's all on the twos, so it's all kind of jittery as it's moving and stuff like that.
Like
and
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did it as well.
Oh, I need to watch that.
It's so
I
good.
watch it so bad.
We love all of those films, so I'm really excited to see this. I've never heard of it though.
K-pop.
Yes. K-pop Demon Hunters.
Okay. Well,
but it's a musical as well, so it's like got K-pop music. And some of those, you're going to have to tell me what you think after you've watched it, because you might go, dude, what the fuck? But,
what have you sold us this?
But we've absolutely loved it, and I've listened to we've listened to the soundtrack literally every day since. So I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, I can't wait.
To be fair, it's something a bit different.
Yeah.
The only animation we've done is Spirited Away.
Yeah.
And that was very good.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, am I now allowed to the outro? Have I missed anything else?
You're fine.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, let me start off by saying thank you for coming on, Sean. It has been a pleasure. That's it for this week's Nerds Against Normality. Thanks for hanging with us. Catch all of our latest episodes every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts from. Please follow, rate, like us on social media for more exclusive content. If you have a question, something you want us to review, or a great story from your week, please email us at nanpodcast@outlook.com. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye. And thank you so much for having me, guys. That was so good.